Wow, what's up? What's up, man? This is Mr. Mindset Therapy himself, man. I got a special guest on tonight, man. I know we're a little early, but I was excited and I could not wait to get my brother on, man. But first, let me go through my spiel. You know what it is. This is Mindset Therapy Real Talk Podcast, Life After Time Edition. Here at Mindset Therapy, we help men, women, and children believe in themselves again. We offer 7 simple strategies to developing a positive mindset, and we stand on that 10 toes down, man. We not just changing lives, we saving lives. We changing mindsets at the same time. Check this out, bro. This brother I have with me today, bro, is like second to none, man. His story is unique. What he's doing is phenomenal. I can't, man. I don't do it justice trying to explain to you what this brother's doing. But if you could check out the background, man, my third love other than God. That's what it is, though, bro. But I thank y'all for joining us on this Tuesday, man. Like I said, we're a little early because I was excited. But first, I want to tell you this: everything you hear on this platform, I don't want you to think that we trying to minimize it or put a shine to what we're doing. We're not doing none of that. We just sharing our testimonies for someone that may can use our stories and use it in a positive way. You know what I'm saying? And showing our transition from the streets to what we're doing now. You know what I'm saying? If we can do it, I feel like anybody can do it. You know what I'm saying? But what I'm gonna say this, bro. This is strictly for educational purposes. No more, no less. You take it how you want. It's real spill right here in real lives. I ain't playing with nobody like. I'm just telling you how it is. What's up, Mr. Blackburn, baby? What's
Peace, brother. How you
good?
doing? All this love, man.
And I'm blessed and highly favored, bro. Look, bro, I'm glad you had a chance to be on. I know you're a busy man, bro, so I'm not gonna play with it, man. I want you to just get into. I don't want to play with it. I want you to get into this and let the people who you is, where you're from, and and we'll take it from there. Just they got to know who you is, and they want to know where you come from. So explain that to them, and we're gonna keep it couple steady from there. I got you.
My name Leo Blackburn. I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I'm originally from Morgan City, but I moved to Baton Rouge when I was a kid, and that's where I grew up at.
All right. Well, look, check this out, man. I know you spent a lot of time in BR, you know what I'm saying? That was your sticks, that was your grounds you played on, you know what I'm saying? And everybody know if you're on life after time, you must have done some kind of significant time in prison, you know what I'm saying? So uh how old were you when you first, got in trouble as an adult?
Um, I was 17 when I first got in trouble.
Wow.
When I got in trouble, I ended up going to prison for like 20 years.
So you done 20 years out of your life. How long have you been home?
I've been home approximately 4 years.
What? 4 years.
Yeah, I've been home 4 years.
Man, you know they got a saying that when brothers like me and you go to jail, it's like a revolving door. We tend to go
Yeah,
back within the first 6 months to a year.
right.
And this brother said he been home 4 years. And
Mhm.
I know what kind of charge you was on. It wasn't no play because if you got 20 years, it had to be something serious. So they didn't
Yeah,
play with you at all, and they put you up as a youngster. Wow,
right. Yeah, I went to prison for murder.
wow. So how was
You know,
the because you ain't go to no jail, you went to penitentiary. Yeah. Wow. Check this out.
Yeah.
So how was it being navigating as a 17, 18-year old with the M on your head in prison as being a young just a young gangster?
Well, at first, I was confused. I mean, no matter what I had did in the streets, I reverted back to my childhood state of mind, and I was confused, didn't know which way to go. But I had some positive, I had some good brothers around me that helped navigate me through the first part. And once it was like that, I got comfortable, and you know, things changed. You know what I mean? I started to live, I guess, prison life.
Right. So
Mm.
you saying when you went, you just went to wilding. You know, you had
Yeah,
no sense of direction. You was just doing what you know how to do. Be
right,
Bubba.
right, 100%. You know,
So tell me this: when did you find Leo?
well, when I first got to prison, my brother got killed, and
Wow.
after that, after my brother got killed, all my uncles got murdered. And I kind of got lost. I kind of got lost, and at some point, I think spiritually, I kind of like found myself found myself on a different path, and I knew that I had to change my life because I didn't want that to be my fate. So being in prison, watching all my male role models, such as my uncles get gunned down and my brothers get killed, kind of took a lot out of me. It took a lot out of me mentally. You know what I mean? But spiritually, God, I guess I had to find something to help me navigate through this journey. You know what I mean? And I embraced Islam, and once I embraced Islam, it was like, life started to change for me because I had to find out who I am as a person.
Wow. Well, look, first, before we even go any further, let me tell you from coming from me, I met you through one of my brothers. You know what I'm saying? And the brother I met you
Mhm.
through, played a significant role, in your life. But at the same time, bro, I want to tell you how proud I am of you. The things you
So,
have accomplished in 4 years is absolutely amazing. Uh, the children that you're helping, not just children, the young men,
mm,
because they just don't have the babies in there. They got the young YNs in there too, and you making
yes,
a difference
sir.
in their life. I'm watching it.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
seeing it. This ain't
Yes,
no
sir.
play. This real deal Holyfield. And for somebody to say they lost their whole youth to the penitentiary, still come out with the heart to give back to the, because some dudes be locked in like, if I ain't had it, they don't need it. You know what I'm saying? If I ain't get
Right,
that love, they don't need that love. People think like that, but you came out with a
right,
whole plan. And I mean, your
right.
plan is magnificent. But I just wanted to tell you
Mhm.
from the jump how proud and how thankful to God that you doing what you're doing, and how I stand with you and 10 toes down, bro. And it is absolutely words can't even express it, man. Thank you for doing what you're doing, bro. Like they say,
So,
bro, from from here to there, they think they only got these over there, man. They got real ones everywhere you go. I don't care what city you go in, what state you go in, they got real ones there. So I don't just be on no state or no city or no, man. I be on the realness. If you real, if you artificial, let it be. You feel me?
right, right. Yeah.
But what you're doing is totally amazing. So back to back to the real deal. So you went I remember previous we was talking, you said, man, you kind of bounced around from you being so young, because yeah, back then they're either, if they send you to Angola, you'll never see the compound. You're too young. They'll lock
Right,
you down in a cell until they get you from around there. You know what I'm saying?
right.
So how was your
Well,
trip? I mean, how was your journey penitentiaries in Louisiana?
basically, man, I went to prison but before I went to prison, I was an amateur boxer. Um, my career was on the
Mm,
rise. Um, I was trying to turn from an amateur boxer to a professional boxer, and life took a turn. When life took a turn, when I
right.
ended up in prison, it was like I already knew how to fight. So, um, man, I guess when I first got to prison, I started fighting a lot, man, and it was like, at some point, I fought so much, I got tired. You know what I mean? And
Right.
my soul wanted something different, man, and I wanted to be at peace. But as when I
Mm,
first got to prison, my reputation started to grow, man. I guess I had to did so much dirt on the inside to the point where once I started to change my life, a lot of things started to come back to me. You know what I mean? And force me to, to
Wow.
continue to live the way I used to live. You know what I mean? To the point where it was like,
Right.
I'm not gonna allow someone to force me to live a way I don't want to live at this point. You know what I mean? I have to grow up and become a man. You know what I mean? And the ideal of a man to me is one who's, willing to make a change. You know what I mean? Not in
Come
his
on,
life,
speak,
but in the
brother.
life of the people around him. So,
That's right.
I started to, as I started to change, I started to try to impact the young brothers that was around me that followed me in the midst of me doing wrongdoing. You know what I mean? So slowly but surely, I started to pull some of my people, through the mud and try to, enlighten them spiritually, help them mentally and emotionally to overcome their struggles. You know what I mean? That, I was still going through the everyday struggle, but, a lot of people looked up to me, you know what I mean? Because who I am and, I guess my struggle and my life in the streets.
That's right. So
You know
tell
what
me
I mean?
this:
So,
was it difficult to get your peers to like, look, man, this what we doing now. We was doing that, but this is if you rocking with me, this what we doing. Was it hard or was it difficult?
well, man, I understand that, man, in life, you got leaders, you got followers. You know what I mean? And I was born a leader, man. So, and, even at some point, I was a follower, but I followed all the people that I felt like was great to me. You know what I mean? And,
That's right.
once I made that turn, you know, it was easy because a lot of people, they didn't feel embarrassed because, like, shit, if he can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean? So
Facts.
over time, it was just like, I had to lead by example and stop trying to lead my people into a negative path and negative direction and try to direct them to doing something that was positive, with your education and different things of that nature.
Uh, so look, tell me this, Leo. You you done 20 years. So how did you when you say you jokes from the beginning to the end? You ain't take no breaks. You know what I'm saying? So the life you lived in jail, you lived it all the way to the end. And you remember me and you was talking, I said, man, they don't have too many brothers that can do that. I said, that's very unique, man. And how you hit those gates running with your dreams.
Right.
What's it, what,
Well, well,
come
for
on, go
me,
ahead.
like in the midst of me in the struggle, like, I always used to read. I always used to, take my mind and try to transform it into thinking something new. But man, I had 4 kids out here, man, and it was like shit, I couldn't allow my kids to go without, even in prison. So financially, I had to take care of them. You know what I mean? So, and what I mean by financially, I had to do what I had to do on the inside to be able to provide for my family. You know what I mean? Because I couldn't expect the same people that I took care on the street to take care of me once I'm on the inside in prison. You know what I mean? So, I still, the hustle didn't stop. You know what I mean? But, in the midst of all that, people were like, man, he not gonna change. He not gonna do this. But, I had a plan. I just knew that I had to reform myself. You know what I mean? Because it wasn't an option for me to go back because I had to mess over so many people on the inside of prison. You know what I mean? I had them beat so many people up. It was like, shit, how can I go back from the things that you know what I mean? Then I become the weaker vessel. You know what I mean? And now I become the
Right.
prey. And I wasn't gonna never be the prey. So I had to work my way outside of prison the way I did it. But I had to also, it was like I had to have on a different hat. I had to become a different person in order to build. So, quiet as kept, I was in school. I was getting my college degree. Um, I was educating myself on a whole nother level. But because I knew I didn't want to come out here in society and live that same life. You know what I mean? Because,
Wow.
like you say, man, they predict us to go back to prison within the first 6 months. And that shit didn't come from outside, it
Facts.
came from family. You know what I mean? My family was
Family.
like, hey,
Yeah.
man, shit,
You
he
say
gonna be
that
back in
again,
prison
brother.
within the first 90 days. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But, slowly but surely, the money that I made in prison, I came home with. And it was like, shit, I'm gonna take this money and I'm gonna use it for the betterment of my people.
That's right.
You know what I mean? And I mean, what I say about the betterment of my people, there's a lot of kids out here blind there's a lot of kids that have a false sense of reality that don't really
Yes,
have a real understanding of what's going on in society, or definitely don't have an understanding of what's going on behind that wall.
that's right.
You know what I mean? So I opened my first gym with hopes of, you know, training adults. But in the midst of that, I started training a 5-year-old kid, and I fell in love with training kids, and I knew that was my purpose.
Mm.
I knew God had set me on the path, so I just pushed adults to the side, and now I'm just focused on uh, reconstructing the mind of our people. You know what I mean? There's a lot of kids out here with no father figure, no male guidance. So, I become him. You know what I mean? I kind
Say,
of like push my life to the side for the betterment of the kids that surround me and the ones that I can reach that's not even around me.
say, what you say, man, is crazy, bro. Because I, the first thing I heard you say, man, you had a plan, and nobody knows your plan but you.
Right,
So you conducted this plan, and you practiced this plan, and you became consistent with your plan in your mind. It didn't tell nobody, so nobody don't know what Leo thinking. So when
right,
you hit those gates, they was like, he already don't talk or don't say nothing, man. This dude he going back.
right,
He going back. I guarantee you going just don't know you had a plan for a minute in your mind already. Set in
right,
stone. Only you and
mhm,
God knew what the plan was, and you was ready to put it in motion.
right. Most definitely, most
Man,
definitely.
say, that's powerful, bro. That's
Mhm.
real powerful. And what you said, you started out, say, bro, let me share something with you. I got a little league football team, right?
Uh,
And I started out coaching the kids. I had four teams under me: the
mhm,
freshman, sophomore, JV, varsity, right?
mhm.
All different personalities. But what I found out was, as I'm teaching these kids, it's really not the kids; it's the parents.
Right.
It's the
Mhm.
parents. The kids is a mirror image of what they're seeing at home. So before you know it, here I'm talking to the parents instead of the kids, because the kids are retaining what we teaching them, but once they go home, they throwing it up and taking in what the norm is at home, and we
Right.
wondering what we doing is, man, we got to talk to these parents, bro, because I mean, well off people, they ain't hurting, good
Mhm.
jobs, military, but their souls and their spirit is broke. Whatever they may have went through when they were small or whatever. And another thing, you said you came home being a father and a father figure. Did you find that hard to do? Since I don't know if you had a father when you was coming up, I don't know, but did you find that hard to do?
I
Because they,
mean,
they, they don't give us no book on that now.
well, I never had a father. You know what I mean? My dad was never in my life. You know what I mean? But I knew what I didn't want to be. And,
Oh,
and
come on
since I
now.
knew what I didn't want to be, I mean, the blueprint was already set. I mean, I knew what I didn't want to be. My heart always been in the right place. You know what I mean? I always been a good person, and
Wow.
so since I knew what I didn't want to be, and I didn't want my kids to feel the way I felt growing up towards my father, you know what I mean? I had to really just reshape my mind, you know what I mean? And reshape my mind to be able to reach people. Like, man, like, my dad wasn't there, but I know what it takes to be a father. You
Right.
know what I mean?
That's
Because
right.
he showed me everything that I shouldn't do.
Shouldn't do.
You know what I mean? So, it became natural. But my kid, when I came home, my kids grown, man, and it was like, they grown, they in the streets, and it's like I can only give you a kind word, but that kind word only goes so far. You know what I mean? At some point, once you stop listening, then it becomes about you. You know what I mean? You have to allow. You seen me grow up I never was there for my kids, not one moment. Financially, I was there, but that really didn't mean anything. The physical part of me
That's
was
right.
never there. You know what I mean? I was never there. So I watched my kids grow up through pictures. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And I tried to, you know, educate them as much as possible from behind a prison wall. But I was still fighting the battle myself because I was a kid.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? So as I grew and mature, I was able to drop more positive jewels on them and give them information that I read in a book or information that a brother that I was around shared and gave to me. You know what I mean? But though the reality of it was that didn't kick out. That didn't happen until I got here. You know what I mean? I started seeing so many young kids without a father. It was like, damn. You know what I mean? So now I step up and I mentor kids that's not even mine. But that's my journey. That's the path that God put me on, and that's what I'm gonna continue to do because this is who I am.
Facts. Facts. And that's a beautiful thing, bro. I say, man, when me and homie was talking, he was like, man, I want you to meet someone, brother. His brother, and he was running out. Was like, what? He got that going on? Yeah, I said, I need to hire him. He was like, so
Mhm.
the day presented itself, and we hit you. He was like, man, and when I was looking at what you was doing, I was like, man, I should, man, this is, but I do understand timing and placing. I do, so I didn't say, well, the time was evident and we done it. Say, bro, what you doing, but it's second to none because you got brothers, you know, see, love, brother, uh, all that other tangible. That's action words, bro. If I tell you
Yeah,
I love you, man, you don't got to tell me you love me. Show me you love me, and it don't
100%.
got to be monetary. I'm saying, show me you love me. Stand up for me when I'm not around. Hold me down when I can't hear, when I can't see. If I'm going the wrong way, straighten me up. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
100%.
I can I didn't practice accepting constructive criticism. I
Right,
I'm willing. I want to. I ain't perfect. You know what I'm saying? So when you can do a brother or sister that, man, and they can accept that, man, that's when you know your love is working. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can give you monetary. Anybody, you can give me, whatever, and leave. It ain't gonna do nothing but hurt me because you didn't give me no teachings with this. You didn't give
right.
me, then you give me no financial literacy. You gave me nothing. You just gave me a bunch of money while I'm about to go hurt myself or
Mhm.
hurt somebody else.
Right, 100%.
So
But you know, that
love and
brother,
understanding when you started, huh?
go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead, I'm
When
listening.
you started, this your first gym, you say?
Oh, this is my second gym.
But everything you had with your first gym, I don't care if it was negative or positive, you took it on this second journey
Yeah,
and it made it
100%.
much better. It
100%.
made it much better. You know the do's and the don'ts in a lot of different
Yeah,
ways now.
right,
Well, I ain't going that route that time. I did that last time. I'm gonna do
right,
it this way.
right. Well,
And
you
that's
know,
amazing to do.
right. I got the first gym, bro, and I just thought that it was gonna be easy, man. But I went
Mm,
through a lot of ups and downs, and going through a divorce, in the process of all that, I ended up losing everything that I had built, and on the verge of like saying to hell with train and all this, man. A brother that I didn't even know walked in my life, man, and told me, say, hey, man, if you sell that gym equipment, man, you're gonna make the biggest mistake of your life.
mm.
You know what I mean? If you stop doing what you're doing, you're gonna make the biggest mistake of your life. So, I waited, bro, and in time, this was presented to me and I was able to do everything I needed to do. And now I'm striving and it's constantly building, man. We train
Wow.
approximately 60 kids. We train approximately 50 kids and probably mentor at least 20 to 25 to 50 more.
Come on.
So, we trying to do big things, bro, and just be a pillar in our community, man, and make sure that we can lead these young brothers right, man, and make sure they don't make the mistakes that we made. I mean, we may not can reach all of them, but we're gonna reach as many as we can possibly reach, man.
Man, look, you're doing a hell of a job right now, brother, and I'm with you.
So, so
You got a brother for life on that, man. You already,
appreciate that,
man,
my guy.
you locked in, bro. Because what you're doing, a lot of brothers you can't pay them to do. If they don't have nothing monetary staple to it, they don't want to do it.
Mm.
If it's
Yeah,
just something doing something out your heart or trying to, help someone else, it's just not in them. It's different. These days and times are totally different. It's so selfish out here. And I
right,
understand when you got to focus on you and get you together because if you're not together, you can't pour into no one else. All right.
right.
Now, once you get together, don't forget where you came from.
100%,
And that's what's
100%.
going on. They getting themselves together and forgetting there was once them.
Right.
You I
Hmm.
was once you, young. We go
Right.
talking to the prisoners, and I be talking to them brothers. The only difference between me and you is I'm not sitting in that seat right now.
Right.
That's it.
Hmm.
I'm you. We the same person, man. I just chose to start making different decisions in my life. The same thing you can do. Hope. Hope is about giving them hope, bro. And when that hope make them move different. When you give them grace, hope, man, they move different. They wanna do the right thing. They wanna, because nobody never gave them that before. They didn't give them
Right.
drugs. They didn't give them guns. They didn't give them, plans to go hit hustles. But they never gave them hope. They never gave them grace. They never gave them love, forgiveness. They never gave them none of that.
Right.
So they don't even know how to be receptive to it. I'm
Hmm.
talking about the babies. You
Right.
feel me? So when they do get in that ring, they got so much built up. You can
Right.
you can get the best out of them. You know what I'm saying? Because you showing
Hmm.
them how to transfer their energy, man. What you
Right.
doing is magical, bro. The
You
sweet
know, I get the
science.
I get the best out of them because I love them, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I love them. And I give, like I say, man, I give them something that I didn't get, man. I mean, shit, my dad was loving that, man. I ain't have love in the home, bro. You know, like, my mom was on drugs when I was growing up. So, like, I didn't have the things that these kids had, man. I was in the streets at the age of 9 years old, brother. You know what I mean? I mean, that was my life. You know what I mean? I started selling drugs at the age of 10 or 11
that's
years old.
right.
You know what I mean? I grew up in a family where either you was a
Mm,
killer or you was a drug
man,
dealer. You know what I mean? So, I didn't have no male guidance
that's right.
until I met Duty. You know, so when I met Duty, it was like, shit,
Mm,
he taught me something different. You know what I mean? I can remember when I first met the brother,
that's
man, I seen him with a pair of clippers in his hand. And I went in his bathroom
right.
one day and I stole a pair of his clippers. And still to this day, he don't know I stole his clippers, right? So I stole his clippers and I went to cutting kids' hair in the neighborhood, man. I was messing their haircut up. But at that point, at 13, 14 years old, I knew that was my gift. So immediately after that, I started boxing. But I knew that was my gift too. You know what I mean? So, at an
Mm,
early age, God bless me, I just didn't have the mind to bring everything in fruition. And just when life started going for me, I made a terrible mistake of just getting in the car with somebody, and I lost my freedom for a crime that I didn't commit.
mm,
You know what I mean? So when it was before that, I started, trying to strive and try to, wiggle my way out in the streets. But, man, like when you got one feet in the streets and you got one foot in to try to do something positive, it's not gonna work. You get the negative and the positive, and one gonna pull towards the other. You know what I
that's
mean?
right.
So, one simple mistake of me getting in the car with the wrong people caused me to lose my life. You know what I mean? But
Wow.
thank God I got it back now.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? It cost me
Yes,
to lose my freedom. You know what I mean? So,
that's right.
you know, um, I sat in prison 20 years for a murder I didn't do. You know what I mean? But, you know, I was always taught from a young age, man, it's been embedded in me, man, from a little bitty boy to keep my mouth closed, man.
That's right.
It's been embedded for me, no matter what, you have to lay down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I did my time, kept my mouth closed, and everybody that was around me stayed free. You know what I mean? But, you know, that's one of the reasons why I chose not to put myself in those type of situations. I choose
I
not to
can ask you
surround
a
myself
question.
with them kind of people. Yeah, yeah,
The people you kept free, did they keep it real with you?
not one of them.
Say that again for the little YNs that's listening, for the youngsters.
Not one person that was involved is just sent me a penny while I was in prison.
Ain't no loyalty in this, man. Ain't no
No,
look, you don't want to be a rat, don't do it. Get out the
right.
game. You can't take jail. You don't want to tell on nobody. Leave it alone. Go a different route. That's it.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Take man, look, bro. And it's sad to say that I, I would have gave my life for the streets. I would have, man, them people would have called me in, and them people could have came in there and said, man, your boy telling on, your boy telling you, man, I still would have lawyered up. I
Yeah,
still want to talk to them people, regardless of what they saying. But
mhm.
God bless me, I never had a co-defendant.
Right.
Thank you, Lord. I appreciate you. Because I
Mhm.
know I'm silent. I could have brought a lot of niggas to jail. Man, look, let me ride. This
Right.
public records check. My record is impeccable. But
Mhm.
that's sad, man, because none of them do. Nobody would have cared either or.
Mhm.
Nobody wouldn't again gave my mama no money. Nobody would do it. They would have sold my mom some drugs, though.
Yeah, 100%.
They would have sold her
For
some
real.
dope. They wouldn't have given nothing to send me up that road, though.
Right.
Or they would have served it.
Right.
You
Yeah.
feel what I'm saying? So, man,
Right.
that ain't no loyalty, bro. So
Right.
I said, man, I looked at my family, my wife and my kids. I chose them, man. I'm like, man, look, I quit. Y'all gonna have it.
Mm.
Y'all gonna have it. I'm gonna pick my family, man, because I knew one thing. Every time I go to jail, they there. They go to jail with me.
Mhm.
They go to jail with me. That woman went to jail with me every time I went to jail. So
Yeah.
now it's time for me to start understanding to repay some of that back, you know. Get a
Right.
loyalty to the people who deserve the loyalty. You know, I won't be celebrated, not tolerated.
Most definitely.
So all them people I would have gave my freedom up for, I would have died for, they was just tolerating me because I was a real one. Really, they probably
Right.
would have killed me because they were so scared.
Right. Mhm.
You feel me?
Mhm.
Same thing
Right.
with you. Man, they know you solid.
Mhm.
They know you a little dog. So what they gonna do? They uncomfortable around you, get him out the way.
Yeah.
So jail bless you because jail gave you something that you wasn't gonna get on the street, man. I'm not saying you deserve to serve no 20 years in jail. No, nobody does. Especially a brother of your caliber and your talent. But God don't
Yeah.
make no mistakes because guess what? You about to have several champions under you. World
100%.
champions. World
100%.
champions.
You said the key thing, bro. Honestly, man, I don't look at my prison sentence as a punishment. You
Mm,
know, in retrospect of things, when I look back at my life, when I look at my family, I'm the last man standing, man. Literally, every man in my family was gunned down while I was in prison, bro. You know, I carry that with me every day. But it's something that I have to live with. You know what I mean? So prison was a blessing to me. You know what I mean? Because it allowed me the opportunity to really educate myself. It allowed me the opportunity to identify who I am as a person, as a brother. You know what I mean? And it gave me direction because I never had direction. Hey, bring Brandon home for me. I never had direction. You know what I mean? I was just a young wild kid in the streets that they say you in Rome, you have to live like the Romans. You
thanks.
know what I mean? So I did what I had to do to survive. Not saying that I was a bad person because I was a good kid that made a lot of bad decisions.
Right.
And my bad decisions, then helped transform the mind of the man I am right now. So, I live with no regret.
Straight up.
You know what I mean? I live with no regret of what happened to me. I live with no regret of how I live. I live with no regret. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
right now I'm at peace. Like success is right here. It's at my fingertips. And so I
Right.
continue to strive and continue to pray. And I continue to walk like a man should walk, a man of faith should walk. You
That's
know what I
right.
mean? I keep God in my life and I continue to pray, bro, and I just continue to do what God set for me to do. I'm not
That's
perfect, you know what I mean, but I'm on a journey, and I'm on, and the journey I'm on is a journey of success. It's a journey of righteousness. It's a journey of trying to be what God set for me to be.
that's right.
You know what I mean? So, um, I live with no regrets, man. Like, even for the brothers that I did my time for. You know what I mean? I have no malice in my heart. You know what I mean? But with that said, man, God have a way of doing things that man can't do.
That's
I
right.
did 20 years, I did 20 years in prison and they did. You know what I mean? And I hate to say
They
it like
did.
that, but like man, life, the way life happened, man, karma have a way of smacking us all in the face.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? So, like I'm not gonna sit here and say like I played a victim of this and that because, I did my share wrong. You know what I mean? But, I just thank God I was able to overcome that. So as a whole, bro, and try to live a righteous life. You know what I mean? Because,
Mm.
I want to be a good person. I want to be the person that's leading these young kids into um, the right things and doing the right things. You know what I mean? I don't want to lead these young brothers into, a prison cell. You know what I mean? Because brothers led me into a prison cell, and I can't blame them. I led myself. You know what I mean? Because they say you know
Right.
better, you got to do better. I knew better.
Man,
You know what I mean?
man, I love your accountability, bro. I love that. I love that about you, bro. You know,
Mhm.
it's no blame. It's no man. That's big to me, man. That's because you understand. You know what I'm saying? You just
Right,
like, man, look, that was my choice. Regardless if I did get in the car, it was my choice to get in the car. You know,
right.
I could have said no and went that way. You feel me? But I done that.
Mhm.
Man, say, bro, a lot of men don't carry that, yo.
Yeah. I can remember, man, when I got in that car, man, it's like, I'm leaving the boxing gym. I got in that car, man, and it was like, uh, it was like, uh, the movie, I think what, Minutes to Decide It. And when your boy was like, hey, Doe, let me out.
Oh, that was boys in the hood.
Boys in the hood. You know what I mean? I can remember being in that car, man. I'm like, man, let me out, bro. You know what I mean? And like, man, you tripping, man. I'm like, man, let me out. You know what I mean? But I didn't get out. I didn't follow the warning that God gave me, bro. I had the feeling in the bottom of my stomach the whole time that something bad was gonna happen, bro. You know what I mean? And I ignored that feeling. And when I ignored the feeling, you know what I mean? That's that spiritual connection that you have with God, no matter what, man. When you ignore that feeling, bro, bad things happen, bro.
Facts. Facts.
You know what I mean? So I don't have no choice but to accept accountability because if I don't accept accountability, that just set me back to a place I don't want to go. You know,
I feel you,
you know what I
brother.
mean? So
And you just don't know how similar you know, man. But man, run it, man. Yeah. And you know what the crazy part is about it? Each one of your uncles that got killed, your brother that got killed,
oof,
it- how how do the people that killed them? How do they look?
it look like me.
You feel me?
It look like me, bro. Like, you know, bro, I'm gonna say this. Up until the moment I walked out that prison, bro, I had so much hatred and so much built up inside me, man. Um, I needed every day I did inside that prison, bro. Because I hadn't
Mm,
built up so much from people just killing my family, bro. Um, So I'm fighting. I'm in the inside. I'm fighting, bro. And it was like, and God kept telling me, man, like, I'm not gonna release. I'm not gonna release you till you're ready. And I can remember once I started changing my life, bro. Like with the dudes that killed my brother, bro, they started. You could see they started getting killed. You know what I mean? It was like God was removing things from in front of me. And when he was removing these things from in front of me, my heart was constantly changing. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people, like with them killing my brothers, a lot of people around me started to die. You know what I mean? And as that started to happen, man, life started to change for me because I understood that, man, for every lesson, bro, it's a blessing. You know what I mean? I had to reshape my mind and to think like I was a human being and not an animal because I wanted to live. You know what I
Right,
mean? I didn't want to die.
right.
You know what I mean? And I understood that I have a purpose. Like I'm here for a reason.
Man, bro. That man, people don't understand, bro. I personally understand where you at, bro. My brother, both of my nephews, both of my childhood, yes, all of them was murder. And then this picture having to deal with that in your transition out here, like trying to change. I'm deep into my change and nigga killed my brother, my two nephews. I got to deal with that out here, man. Boy, I
Yeah,
had to go, man. I had to run. I had to go on bending knees, bro, because I'm out here. I ain't locked up. You know how hard that was not to flash? Bro, I deal with
yeah,
that every day. Like, not so much more now because, I'm understanding more because, just like you said, man, them dudes dead. They dying off. You know what
right.
I'm saying? God is putting me in a, beautiful, not a bit, but he put me in a situation where I don't got to worry about that. He said he was gonna handle it. You feel me? But
Right,
just imagine being on the street, got the man. And I'm saying I'm changing. No, I'm changing.
right.
I'm changing. I'm changing. I'm man. It wasn't my strength, bro. It was straight God, bro. I
100%.
flashed out. I blacked out. But so I understand from a personal standpoint where you're coming from. So I can't even imagine being where you was when this happening, bro. It is man, gotta be a strong dude, man.
Yes, sir.
But I
Mhm.
found out it wasn't even my strength. It wasn't even me. It was God. I ain't had nothing to do with
100%.
that because I was broke. I was a broke vessel. I was broken, shattered in pieces. I couldn't get right.
Right.
Like on life, can't get right. I couldn't get right for nothing. I
Mhm.
lost pounds. I'm losing weight. I'm grieving. I'm stressing. I'm man.
Mhm.
So
Trust me, I understand. I mean,
feel
it sent me into
you,
maniac
brother.
mode. So I mean, I
I
understand.
feel you, bro. That lets you know that your connection between you,
Yeah.
yeah, bro. Man, it's crazy, bro. I ain't lying. But man, say, bro, what you doing is phenomenal, bro. Cause look, check it out, bro. Them kids got somewhere to come and they know they're gonna be accepted. They know they don't got to
Right.
worry about this. They don't got to worry about that. Like you said, look, one of your people in that look, bring home, they don't got to worry about that. They don't got to worry about not being cared for, not being, they come into a place of comfort, a place of peace, a place of betterment, man. And that's something to have that for the kids to come, just to come have a safe haven. You feel me?
Right. No,
Then it's coming from a child that didn't even have no childhood.
right. 100%. Man, this their home, bro. Like, man, I'd rather see them in here. I have 100% ownership of my gym, bro. So I open the doors. I want you here. I don't want you in the streets. You know what I mean? And to me, like this stuff behind me, bro, is just a stepping stone for education. discipline.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Teaching them the core values of life. Trying
Yes, sir.
to help them understand what financial literacy is. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
come on.
taking them, you gonna bring them home for me? Just taking them and showing them, bro, trying to educate them, bro. Like, so, I keep like-minded brothers around that's gonna love them and treat them the way I love them and treat them.
Come on.
You know what I mean? Because the
Come
kid ain't
on.
gotta be mine. Once he walked through that door, he belongs to us. Like, and this how we carrying it, bro. Like, um, the door open. The door open for them to come get educated, them to get disciplined. I mean, you need help or whatever. Like, we open the door for to be able to help these kids and try to motivate them to be great. We
Man,
don't,
I'm
we're
trying to
not
tell
just
you.
pushing boxing, we pushing education. We want them to be, if you don't want to be a boxer, man, just get the discipline side of it, man, and get that education, man, and do whatever it is that you need to do to help yourself be successful. Because at the end of the
Man,
day, ain't no excuses.
none.
You
None.
know, ain't no
And then I
excuses.
know,
And I'm a
them single mothers, bro, the single fathers, bro, the single parents, period. I know they appreciate that. And even if they don't show it at times, bro, because guess what? They don't got to worry about that kid being in the street while they at work. They got to work.
right.
They got to work.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So it's hard to be at work and worry about your 14, 15-year-old in the city where, where they getting crucified every day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Doing stuff just to be accepted. Oh man. So man, what you
Mhm.
doing is absolutely amazing, bro. I can't wait to see y'all come down, bro. Man, tell them about the event on the 12th, man.
But man, we're gonna bring some of our top fighters that we have in our gym down there September 12th to a Roy Jones sponsored event. And we just coming to showcase, man, and showcase these young kids and show the talent that they possess, man, because we're trying to take things on a whole nother level. You know, so we try to travel, take these kids to different states, just showing them different things. So Louisiana is the state that we choose to come back to because, like it's home to me. You know what I mean? So, they want to come down there and put on. So, we'll be down there to fight. It's the event that got, I guess I think it's 20 fights, you know what I mean? And, we preparing for, I guess to come showcase their talent, man. You know?
Okay. So what Houston that's gonna be in?
Say it again.
What part of Houston that's gonna be in on the 12th?
No, it's gonna be in Louisiana.
Oh, it's gonna be in Louisiana.
Yeah.
Where at?
Um, if I'm not mistaken, bro, it's supposed to be around Slidell somewhere. I can't think of it now. I have to look at the flyer.
Okay.
What the name of that place is? The day event is on the 12th. Oh, in Louisiana. Yeah, so we just coming down there to showcase our skill, man. Let these young kids do what they need to do, man.
They
And,
think.
and yeah, most definitely. You know,
Man, that's gonna be big, man. Man, that's
yeah.
big. And I think I do got the flyer, so I'm gonna be spinning the flyer at the same
The
time.
fight at a mansion. It's called the fight at the mansion.
Fight at the match. All right.
Yeah, hosted by
Yeah, that's
Roy Jones.
the flyer I got too.
Yeah,
I think the one I think dude is Sunday or you Sunday, one out of two. But I
yeah.
think
I
I got
think,
I'm spinning. So
yeah, I think
I mean
dude that sent it to you.
boxing, bro, boxing is trying to get back to where it's supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? It had fell off a lot. You know what I'm saying? They got a lot of young fighters. I've been watching uh the Muhammad kid. I've been watching Boots Ennis. I've been watching the little dude from Brooklyn. What's his name?
Shishi.
Shishi. Yeah. What you think about
Yeah.
him?
He got a long ways to go, bro.
You think he could be better than what he is though?
100%. I mean, he just got to keep training and stay in the gym. We all with everybody. I mean, we all could be better at what we're doing.
Right.
That's always the goal. I mean, as long as he's staying in the gym, as long as he's getting the proper work and making the adjustments that need to be made, he's gonna be better. He's gonna get better.
What about the
You know,
Abdul brothers? Abdul, no. Abdul
Abdullah
Mason.
Mason, he the
Yeah.
real deal. He the real deal. I like him.
You
Yeah.
got some little brothers coming behind him looking kind of decent.
Yeah, no, I checked them out, but yes, I checked them out, but he's a real deal.
Mm. All right.
You
What
know
you
what I
think
mean?
about Boo Ennis?
He ain't really fight nobody yet for me to say that.
Facts.
You know what I
Facts.
mean? Like, I guess with boxing, bro, you really have to pay your dues. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I think he have a potential to be great. You know what I mean?
You
It's
think he
just,
got a chance?
I think if he get hit by somebody like Bud Crawford and get hit with one of them powerful shots and somebody gonna follow up, that he'll go to sleep. But I mean that's just my personal opinion. But for the fighters that he's
Right.
fighting now, I think he can handle his business for the most part until he go to fighting elite
He
fighters.
running
Like,
through him.
yeah, if Bud come out of retirement, Bud Crawford come out of retirement, I mean,
Oh,
he don't stand a
oh,
chance.
oh. Yeah, Bud gonna eat him, bro. Bud gonna beat him from here.
Y'all bees, man, blessings. Yeah, most definitely. That's how
Yeah,
it's gonna
Bud,
happen.
Bud gonna beat him from here.
Yeah,
You know,
100%,
Bud gonna beat his
100%.
brain up.
Hmm.
Chess, not checkers.
Yes, sir, 100%. Hmm.
And see, that's the thing. This is what I learned young. You can be a good boxer, but if you're an emotional boxer, you're gonna always have a weakness. And that weakness gonna always expose this if you don't have that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? As you can see, a
Right.
lot of fighters they get in the upper echelon of fighters, they getting boom like the Browns bomber. I love
Hmm.
Deontay Wilder attitude. I love his grind, but he don't have no chin.
Yeah.
Can't take no punch at all.
Hmm.
We never saw
But we
that
got
because he never got to a fighter that test that chin like that.
right. You got to look at dude's journey though. The dude wasn't really even trying to be a boxer, man. Dude was just trying to take care of his daughter.
Daughter, facts,
You know what I
facts.
mean?
He did
He
it.
just knew he had a right hand, and that was an equalizer. But he had a reason, bro, for his for doing what he wanted, doing what he did. Like he had a reason, bro. Like his daughter was in a situation that he couldn't provide and take care for her, bro. So he knew that was the way out. He knew that was the way that he could get her the medical attention that she needed. So he did what he had to do. You know what I mean? So, for him, it
He went
wasn't a
got
way
that
of
bag,
boxing.
brother.
He went and got the bag, right? Most definitely. He secured it. You know what I mean? So he secured the bag. So, that's what it was about to him. He accomplished his mission.
Mm-hmm.
Mm. You know what I mean? So, you know, I, I respect the brother. You know what I mean? Whether it's boxing skills
Yeah.
or not, I respect the brother because he did what he needed to do.
Yep. For his baby,
You
bro.
know, yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
That. But look, check this
Mhm.
out, bro. We're gonna have to do a part two. I always got to come back, man. We got to do it again. I thank you for giving me your time, bro. I know you got to get back to them shorties, and I see they still being active behind you. You know what I mean?
Yes,
But man,
sir.
it's a blessing, bro. I thank God for connecting us, man. And again, this Mindset Therapy Real Talk Podcast, Life After Time Edition. Here at Mindset Therapy, we help men, women, and children believe in themselves again. We offer 7 simple strategies to developing a positive mindset, and we stand on that. 10 toes down. Bob and weave. You better weave and bob. I'm telling you, they coming.
Yes,
Stick
sir.
and move, baby. What you got to tell the people before we go?
Well, just stay focused, man. Stay out the people streets, man. Stay out the people jails, man. Just build a positive mind, bro. You know what I mean? And stay focused on life, man. You know what I mean? And, keep God first, man. No matter
Yes,
what. Just
sir.
keep God first, man. And, you know, everything else can fall in place for you, man. You know what I mean? Don't
Man,
give up,
in real life,
no matter
though.
what the story is. Yes,
In real
sir.
life, though. Say,
Yes,
bro,
sir.
thank you, bro. I appreciate you for coming on and blessing the podcast, man. I look forward to seeing you in the future. God bless everything that you do, all of your endeavors, man, and keep them shorties grinding, man. Stick and move. You heard me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Blessings.
Peace and blessings. Yes, sir.